What if the most powerful thing you could inherit wasn't money but time?
Maurice Hennessy was born into a name etched in crystal and soaked in French oak.
But he didn't want it. Not at first. Because what do you do when your family's business is older than your country's government, and your future is sealed before you can speak?
This isn't a story about privilege. It's a story about a man trying to live up to 250 years of history, one sip at a time. Maurice Hennessy was born in 1953, the eighth-generation heir of a dynasty that began in 1765 with Richard Hennessy, an Irish officer in the French army. His descendants built what would become one of the world's most powerful spirits empires. But Maurice didn't grow up like royalty. His father served in the Navy. His mother was grounded and strict. They raised him to work hard, not to inherit a throne. He chose to study agriculture, because while the world saw Hennessy, he saw vines, earth, and sweat. He wanted to farm, not market.
"We were raised to work," Maurice said, "not to expect anything."
Before the legacy ever belonged to Maurice, it started with a man named Richard Hennessy, a young Irishman who fled political unrest and joined Louis XV's army. He wasn't nobility, he wasn't wealthy, he was a risk-taker. After serving in the army, Richard settled in Cognac and saw something no one else did: that this land of chalky soil and wild vines could produce liquid gold. In 1765, with little more than vision and grit, he founded what would become Maison Hennessy. He didn't just bottle cognac, the bottled potential. Maurice didn't love cognac when he started.
"I didn't like it," he said. "It was too strong, too serious." But everything changed when he met the maître de chai, the cellar master.
He spent hours in those ancient cellars, where each oak barrel held not just liquid, but legacy. Some eau de vie had been aging since before World War I, some older than most modern nations.
And in those barrels, Maurice discovered something sacred: memory, emotion, craftsmanship.
"You don't drink cognac," he said.
"You converse with it."
In 1971, Hennessy merged with Moet and Chandon. In 1987, that partnership gave birth to LVMH, the largest luxury group in the world, housing Dior, Louis Vuitton, Fendi, and yes, Hennessy. Maurice stepped into this new era not as a merchant, but as a guardian. His mission: to protect the soul of cognac in an industry chasing speed and scale. "Even as we grow," he said, "we must remember, our barrels do not run on trends. They run on time." At Hennessy, every bottle is a time capsule. The XO blend contains over 100. The Parodies collection features notes that began aging before the moon landing. "You're not tasting alcohol," Maurice said.
"You're tasting the patience of people who never saw the final product. That's trust. That's beauty."
He wasn't selling a drink. He was sharing philosophy. Maurice Hennessy never liked the image of stiff luxury. He made jokes. He welcomed everyone. He called cognac a conversation, not a performance. He didn't act like an aristocrat. He acted like a host. "Luxury should not be intimidating," he once said. "It should be shared." In doing so, he made the brand human. He reminded us that even in billion-dollar boardrooms, legacy starts with a farmer, with a barrel, with a whisper of smoke and fruit. Under Maurice's influence, Hennessy didn't just become popular, it became cultural currency. Jay-Z rapped about it. The NBA partnered with it. Artists, designers, and young creatives across Africa and Asia began using Hennessy not just as a drink, but as a symbol of excellence. "You don't have to understand barrels to understand legacy," Maurice said. "You feel it." And millions around the world did. In 2020, Maurice stepped back from day-to-day duties, but not without leaving one final promise. Even if the world speeds up, our barrels must not. He reminded everyone, legacy doesn't sprint, it waits. It's not about urgency, it's about honor. When asked about what's next, Maurice said, "The future of cognac will depend on younger generations who respect patience. It's not about chasing money, it's about earning respect from time itself. Hennessy will endure not because it's rich, but because it's real. You may not inherit a vineyard, or a cellar, or a name worth billions. But like Maurice Hennessy, you can build something that outlives you. Because in the end, legacy isn't what you take, it's what you preserve." Tell us in the comments, what will your legacy taste like? Like, share, subscribe, and toast to those who wait and watch the next video.